What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers need to save Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz. I can't stand the way Utah utilizes Walker Kessler. I'm not saying he has to be your best player. I'm not saying you have to run everything through him. But most of the time, he's just kind of out there on the court trying to figure stuff out for himself rather than having an actual position or actually knowing where he's supposed to be on the court. And I just see Walker Kessler and all of his abilities and what he could do on this Lakers team as a double-double guy that can give you 3 to 5 blocks a game. Imagine him alongside Anthony to stop, right? It's just, with JJ Redick, I think Walker Kessler would be ridiculous. I think people would be like, is he a top 10 big man or something like that in the league, right? Under JJ Redick. Because JJ's just done a really good job of utilizing guys. And based on new reports that came out, the Lakers are still interested in Walker Kessler and do at some point make a plan to push for Walker Kessler. But everyone's trying to be patient. The season just started, right? So that makes sense. If you're the Lakers, you want to kind of take your time and evaluate. You want to see what do you have? What can you do? Right? What big needs start to present itself? Right? Obviously, we need a center. But JJ Redick has done an excellent job of turning Jackson Hayes into a good player. I mean, Jackson Hayes, I still don't like Jackson Hayes as our primary backup. I'm not saying Jackson Hayes has been so good we don't need a backup center. I like Jackson Hayes still as our third big, but for the moment, he's been great in what we need him to do. And just gives you a different look. And JJ's done a really good job of making him just a really competent player. Where Darvin Ham really had his struggles and kind of how to properly utilize Jackson Hayes. And you're seeing the just better utilization, which is why I think Walker Kessler, who can do so much more and can make plays out of the post and can be a back-to-the-basket guy and not just be a reliable, a floor-running big and just be a lob threat, but a guy that could be, you can run in the pick and roll, you can run in the pick and pop, you can even stretch the floor a little bit. Not really a guy that you want taking a handful of threes a game yet, but he has shown the ability to knock down the occasional three. I just look at what we've seen Darvin Ham failed to do with Jackson Hayes and JJ Redick succeed in with Jackson Hayes. And I just think man, what would Walker Kessler look like under JJ Redick, right? I think he would be brilliant. And then that good luck scoring on the interior. And JJ loves running that Hayes AD lineup. Imagine that with Kessler and AD. Whoo, stop. But in all seriousness, right? You look at kind of Utah, and it's just it doesn't seem like they're super high on Kessler, and two, it doesn't seem like they really know how to utilize him, but they want to first for Kessler. And I know some people are looking at it as do it, go do it, right? He's young enough to be our center for the next, 15 years. And look, I love to get Kessler, but we need more. And yes, the Lakers are 3-0. They are playing excellent basketball. You love what you see from the Lakers. JJ has these guys bought in, has these guys focused, has these guys playing some, again, excellent basketball. Our schedule has been brutal these first 3 games. You're talking, you had Minnesota, who the only team to beat them so far is us. Then you have the Phoenix Suns, who, again, Phoenix, I have my concerns with Phoenix, but they're a good team, right? Let's not pretend they're terrible. They have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and then you had that on the first of a back-to-back, and then played Sacramento, who we haven't beaten since 2020 or whatever, and Anthony Davis has never beaten him in his career, right? That's a tough schedule, particularly on the back-to-backs, and we handled all 3 of those. And we controlled games, we got back in the game. You saw a little bit of everything in those first 3 games, right? Trailing in the fourth, gotta lock in, boom, 14-0 run to start the game, right? You see in the Suns game, down 22, focus, locked in, get back in that game, win that game, right? Minnesota, you essentially controlled start to finish, right? So you got the control game, had the big comeback game, and then you had the gritted out fight, who executes better? Oh, it was the Lakers. And you've seen that through these games thus far. But what does it look like? Again, game 22, 23, 24, 25, is it hey, D'Lo's just really the odd man? I think D'Lo gets traded at some point, but is it man, we could really use some athleticism at the guard more than the wing, right? Rui's holding his own. He's doing great. He's playing well. Maybe we look to flip D'Lo into Bruce Brown or something, right? Just bear with me, right? Whatever, whomever, right? Maybe somebody else becomes available that we don't see coming right now. And it's like, hey, we could really get and use a guy that can just be that point of attack. Now Reeves doesn't have to defend the best player. He can defend, second best player. We get that point of attack guy, get some athleticism, get a guy that can do some different things and give us a different look, right? Or maybe it is really the wing, right? Maybe Rui, yes, he's great offensively, but he's really struggling defensively. And it's just like, hey, if we could get that legit 3-and-D wing, that might be the better approach. That might be the better option. What else do you need? So it's in the Lakers' interest to be patient. But like I've talked about, the better the Lakers are, the easier it is to be patient. Lakers 3-0, it's all calm. It's all good. Kick your legs up, right? Like, we don't need anything right now. Right? Our team's calling. Like, hey, yeah, we want him, but it's got to be at our price. We're not taking him. We're not giving you 2 for. Like, look at us. We're 3-0. We're number 1 in the West. Stop. Right? Click. But if you were 0-3, now the pressure's on. Now it's like, the panic mode. If the 20 games in, if the Lakers are 5-15, right? Like, that's a lot different, and the pressure is a lot more mounted than if you're 15-5. Right, you're 15-5. You're at worst top 3 seed. It's like we're good. We're on pace to win, like 50, 60 games, right? Like, we're not in a rush. Like, hey, yeah, we love Walker Kessler, but we're willing to take our time. And from the other side of things, right? No one's rushing to go help the Lakers. No one's rushing to get things done for Lakers. I do also think, though, if come January, if the Lakers are like a top 3, maybe top 4 seed at the worst, I think the Lakers will make a push. I think they will. I think the Lakers will. Hey, let's make something happen here, right? We have a chance here to win. Like, look at what JJ Redick has done. Say 40 games in or whatever, we're 30-10, right? Or let's say 25-15, right? Something like that. We got like a 10-game cushion, right? 25-15. Well, at that point, it's like, man, let's say we're top 2, 3 seed in the West Conference. It's like, we really should do something. Like, we should really, who's the move? Who's the play? Assuming that's out there. If that's not out there, then I don't want to see the Lakers force the issue, because you can always get worse. But if there's something out there that makes sense, right? Maybe Kessler, you can be had for 1 first. And it's like, hey, let's go get Kessler. It's like, we really could use some athleticism and maybe some consistent scoring, right? Like, hey, maybe you do go get a Zach LaVine, or maybe you do get a Bruce Brown, right? Or maybe you are looking to get a Jeremy Grant. Or again, maybe somebody else becomes available on one of these teams. Because once you get close to the trade deadline, you're going to have teams that either A, thought they were going to be good that aren't, or B, you have teams that don't want to be good that are, and they're probably going to have a fire sale. And with the new CBA, I mean, you've heard now at this point, like half the general managers in the league talk about how, like, hey, the new CBA makes things very difficult, and a lot of players are going to be traded not because they wanted to trade them, but because they kind of don't have a choice, right? Like, if you're, depending on where you are, as far as the CBA goes, you might be in a position where you have to sell guys. It's why, Karl Anthony Towns, why there was so much like, why are they trading? They just wanted it was the CBA for the most part. And they didn't want to trade Cat, but it's like, hey, like, we have to commit to Rudy Gobert and all these other guys. Like, Cat's kind of the odd man out. So we can get like a Randall that could supplement that, maybe get some bench depth, right? Okay, cool. We got something there. So it's a win, right? And you're going to see more of those. You're going to see other teams. Right now, there are guys on rosters that you right now, you're probably like, no way that they're available. I'm not talking about necessarily superstars or anything like that. I'm talking about like just high-end blue chip guys, right? Like that you just think like, there's no way that guy's going to be available, right? Like, I don't know, somebody like an Aldama. Just throw him out there. He's a good big man that would be worth watching. Like, does Minnesota, or not Minnesota, Memphis, does Memphis go like, hey, like, let's get off of him. Let's, like, we're not where we want to be. Memphis is kind of, they kind of seem hot and cold. Do they kind of pull something like that? My point is, like, Orlando, does Orlando go like, hey, we just gave, all these new extensions. We got all this money tied up, right? We're like the 5th seed. Maybe we should sell off some guys. And, maybe they end up unloading a guy. Maybe Wendell Carter Jr., I don't know if he could be available anymore. But like that, maybe now it's like, point is, you can see somebody or somebody's potentially being available, and there's probably going to be a lot. And look, all the guys that have been available all offseason were all available at the trade deadline. Like, nothing's changed since the trade deadline, which tells you everything you need to know, right? Like, so Lakers are not, like, it's not like all these teams are now going to be rushing to go get Jeremy Grant and his contract. And it's not like a bunch of people are going to be rushing to go get Bruce Brown. Once you get to the trade deadline, Bruce Brown's contract becomes more valuable because he's expiring. Same thing with D'Lo, right? D'Lo's contract becomes much more much more valuable. Words are hard, when he becomes a free agent next season, and now you have $18.5 million expiring, right? And teams go, hey, you know, we can unload these two guys, these three guys. Maybe the Lakers are fine, and it's like, you know what? Like, Dalton Knecht is cooking, and he's playing well. Maybe we just turn D'Lo into bench depth, right? Maybe you turn D'Lo into two guys off the bench. Or maybe you can get away with a Gabe Vincent and just go, hey, we go Gabe for that point of attack and D'Lo or Reeves with Rui, LeBron, and AD. I don't know, Vando, right? Maybe the Lakers just go big. Go with like Reeves, Vando, Rui, LeBron, and AD. And just go, hey, like let's see how that looks for a little bit. And then it's like, hey, you know what? Let's turn D'Lo into, you know, two bench pieces. Or let's turn Rui into two bench pieces, right? Point is, be patient. Right? And let's see how things develop. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Walker Kessler? Do you think, like, yes, go rush and get Walker Kessler? I still don't like him for 2 firsts. If you want a first and whatever, like, you want the first, you want the protections removed on the other pick, and you want, like, a pick swap, sure, it's yours. Here you go. Right? But you got to keep that other first because the Lakers, they're going to need more. Right? This team is cruising, looking great. I still think there's still redundancies. There's still things where it's like, we could use that other piece. But what is that, right? Be patient. Let things develop. But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.